Folks at home, welcome back to the Backyard Bass Pond. Unfortunately, we have Hurricane Sally coming directly at us, and by that I mean the eye of the storm is going to be right over the top of this pond. We're going to be getting a lot of rain, somewhere between 14 to 20 inches, and the storm's going to move really slow. So this pond cannot handle that much rain in a short amount of time. So I'm going to do my best to keep all of our fish in the pond and not floating away out of the backyard. And so what I'm going to do is drop a sump pump down in right here and pump the water down about, I don't know, 4 inches low. And then we're just going to run the cord right over there to the window. So maybe every few hours we're going to have to turn the sump on and pump it out. We've got a couple drains back there in the back that do really good at keeping water coming off that hill out of the pond. There's that crazy looking sky. Calm before the storm. One last good look at the pond. It's coming. Alright folks, time to do a damage report. We're right here in the middle of it. The eye's almost on us. The pond's holding up pretty good. However, gates are down. You can see tree limbs starting to snap. This gate's down. About 50 mile an hour gust right there. So this is where things go from bad to worse. Whenever it knocked over the fence, it busted one of our water pipes. And this is city water, so all of that is chlorinated, and it was flowing directly down into the pond. So I spent a good bit of time clearing out the drains and also trying to create a path for that water to go down the drain instead of route into the pond. So I got the water source cut off, but there was about 3 to 4 inches of standing water that was still draining downhill. But folks, this is how you know you take good care of your pets. You're out there in the middle of a hurricane, making sure the squad is safe. I've already gotten it turned off, but we had a lot of water coming from that side of the house over down into the pond. But we got all that fixed. Water level hasn't raised outside the pond. Now that our power's off, I can't turn our sump pump on anymore to drain it. So it has to be the old-fashioned way of 5-gallon bucket if I have to get out there and scoop some out. But we're hanging in there. I'll keep you guys posted. So this is the worst hurricane to hit our area since I've lived here, and I can tell you that hands down the worst part about this storm is how long it's lasting. So it's moving really slow, and with most storms they pass by, you know, within an hour or two, or even like a tornado it may be gone in 5 minutes. But we are almost at 24 hours straight of these sustained winds, and you're constantly worried about your roof blowing off and trees falling over into your house. And that's the worst part about these slow-moving storms. The rain soaked through the ground and loosened up all the soil, and then when you combine that with these strong winds, trees just can't withstand it. And I know there's going to be trees down all over our neighborhood as well as out at our new farm. Sally wreaked some havoc on the backyard. She's not quite done yet. We got about 20 mile an hour winds, but let's go check it out. It's not good when you walk outside and you got shingles in the backyard. Got to do some work on the roof. Got some trees, limbs down. But the biggest part, the biggest damage is right here. Knocked our fence down, which also busted that water pipe. Did some pretty serious damage to all the plant life, but as of right now, all the fish are still alive. We still got the power out, that's why there's no waterfall. But as far as I could tell, the fish didn't drown. Got a lot of work to do rebuilding the fence. Whew, look at that tree limb back there. Luckily, that didn't end up in their house. And we got some extra toys in our backyard that aren't ours. Whoa, Sally, now you're starting to hurt my feelings. Now, we were very fortunate that our home didn't take any more damage, because just riding around our neighborhood, so many people had trees fall into their homes and caused a lot of damage. And not only that, everyone in this area is out of power. Alright folks, back out here at the peanut farm. It looks like all the peanuts held up just fine. But look at this. This oak tree that's over 100 years old that had the tree stand in it in the last video that I was sitting up in there looking over that field did not make it. Looks like it survived over 100 years of hurricanes, but Sally finally pushed her over. Let's go take a look at all of the damage. We had a lot of erosion and washout down here, but man, look at this. That is a sad sight to see right there. Look at the root system on this tree. There's the tree stand that we were sitting in, and I'm gonna get in there. You can tell an oak tree's age by doing some measurements right there around the trunk. I'm gonna get in there and do that, but guys, that is very, very disappointing. This was definitely one of the gems of this property, and now unfortunately she's gone. But I'm big on trying to turn a negative into a positive, and one thing I've been thinking that we can do is we can use a lot of these big oak tree limbs as structure in the pond. You never know, Bonnie or Clyde could use one of them as a home in the future. But here's where I need the help from you guys. Comment down below on what you think we should do with the trunk of the tree. There's a lot of oak wood in there. We could get a carpenter to build us a sign when you enter the property, or we could build a table or a mantle or even something to go on a fishing pier for the lake. So leave ideas on what you think we should do, because we have a lot of valuable oak wood and we definitely don't want it going to waste. Very, very disappointing. Man. This is how big this tree is. It uprooted another tree that was right here beside it whenever it went over. That whole tree is still intact and just went down with it. It's another oak, probably came off of one of the acorns off of this tree. We're going to try to guesstimate an age, and what you do is you go 4.5 feet from the trunk. So we're going to calculate the DBH, and it starts off by taking that first measurement of 17 feet, multiplying that by 12 to come up with inches, and we have 204. Then you divide that by 3.14 so we can get the diameter, and you take that and multiply it by the growth factor. And I looked this growth chart up online, and we have a red oak. Our growth factor would be 4, and when you multiply that out, you get 259 years old. That's why this one really hurts, because after a storm comes through, you can rebuild a house in 6 months, but you can't replace a 200-plus-year-old oak tree. Let's see what was going on 259 years ago. That was 1761. That means this oak tree is older than the United States and started growing before the Declaration of Independence. That is crazy. We'll be able to do a little bit more accurate aging once we cut into the base of the tree. So more on that in upcoming videos. So one of the reasons the peanut crops fared so well is because the farmers have dug out kind of like a culvert right there and redirected all the water flow, and a lot of stuff got washed out right in this area, which is where we're going to build the pond, and that's something we'll talk about later. We're going to actually do a full video on that, but got a lot of runoff, lost a lot of good soil. But the good thing about it is you can see we do have some clay material down there, which is definitely what you need for building a lake. Looks like there might have been some other sort of irrigation or pump or something right here as well. Not sure what that is, but definitely want to see that red clay whenever you're building a pond. What do you think, Sarah? You having fun out on the farm? What happened to... You playing in the puddles? What happened to the big oak tree?
It fell down.
It did fall down. That's sad, isn't it? Alright folks, the farmer has started harvesting the peanuts. You can see the first thing they do is come and flip them. They'll flip them upside down right here and let them dry out. And you can see, even though the hurricane just came through and dumped a lot of water, they're pretty dry right now. So I imagine in the next couple days he'll come in and get them. We'll try to get out here and do a little bit of filming when he's out here with his big tractors. That's a pretty cool process. But you know, I got one thing on my mind, and that's dove hunting. Hopefully the doves will fly in. This is about 20 acres right here. Me and Liz and Sarah may get set up on the wood line over there and try to shoot some doves. Even the tree that I had my game camera on right here got blown over. Alright, let's take a look at some of these photos. We got a cool shot of a hawk. Look here, we got a crow with a peanut in his mouth. And the farmer spraying his peanuts. A nice bachelor group of bucks. That one in the back left looks like he may have some size to him. And another young buck grazing the peanut fields. I think this is a bumblebee that triggered it. Not 100% sure on that one. Mr. Raccoon comes out every night. And another young buck. Alright, now that all the fish survived the storms, I think it's only appropriate to give them a good feeding. I got a bunch of golden shiners we're going to be throwing them in. Let's let them eat. So we still have a little bit of cleanup work to do with these pond plants and things like that, but we are fortunate that it didn't get any worse, because for most people it was a lot worse. So if you have any friends or family that are down here near the coast, reach out to them, check in on them, make sure they don't need help. There's still a lot of people without power and a lot of people having to do cleanup after this hurricane. But as always, hope you all enjoyed this video, and we will see you all next time.
Were pretty looking people, but I can tell you people, they were the devil's children.